Question: what makes an ultra lightweight game? Is it the ability to learn it and get it into your first game in less than 10 minutes? Probably. Is it a game that only has one mechanic? Not necessarily. But the common thread though, my ladies and gentlemen, is that they have very, very low complexity and are guaranteed to be easy to get to the table. Welcome to the show then. I'm your host Benji, and this is my and/or the top 10 ultra lightweight games in no particular order. Number 1, Love Letter. Always nice to start a list with a bit of romance, eh? Yeah. This deduction game that brings hand management to the table sees you vying for the affection of the local princess. And it's easy as drawing a card on your turn and then playing one of two now in your hand. This will see you stealing cards from others or guessing what someone else has to try and eliminate them from the game. All in the spirit of being the last player standing. What I really appreciate about this game is that its cutthroat nature is softened somewhat by the shortness of each game and the ability to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Oh, and you can get it with a bunch of IPs plastered on as well, ranging from Batman to Adventure Time. Number 2, Age of War. Sometimes when I roll dice, I like to roll them again. And guess what? This game lets you do that and do that again. The setting of the scene is that you play warring clans in feudal Japan, looking to conquer and pillage and grab the most territory to win the game. How you achieve this is by covering up symbols representing differing types of military combatants. Except you can only cover up symbols in one particular row each time. You then get to roll the remaining dice and try and cover up another row, and so on and so forth until you run out of dice or you take control of the card. This is more like push to win than push your luck, but either way it's a great deal of fun and most certainly provides you with that dice chucking fix. Number 3, Point Salad. One of the newer games on the list sees you drafting multifunctional cards from a communal marketplace and then placing them one way up as an objective card or the other way up as a means to score those objectives. Now, I would argue that multifunctional cards are one of the greatest inventions in gaming, and when you fling them in an uber straightforward set collection game, good times are sure to be had. It stands out to me because it gives you the ability to pick a couple of solid objectives and just go all in on those to the finish line. Or you can get really adventurous and thread the needle of multiple objectives. All the while there's nothing to stop you flipping over your objective cards and changing tack midway through the game. Number 4, Silver and Gold. A flip and write with treasure maps, dry erase markers and Tetris-like polyomino shapes is almost as addictive as the titular Game Boy Classic. The game's as simple as drawing the revealed shape on one of your 2 dry ripe treasure maps until you fill in all the available spaces, grab another map and keep at it. There are some bells and whistles when you mark certain spaces, but this is as involved as it gets. Now, it's compelling not necessarily because you're eagerly chasing your high score. The game's a little bit too random for you to solve. No, it's more the immediacy of being able to fill up all the available spaces on the map quick sharp, and then do it again and again, all the while ticking over a sense of achievement as you go. Number 5, Sushi Go. Pure card drafting in a box with pictures of raw seafood on cardboard rectangles. And this is why I'm not paid to come up with taglines for anything, let alone board games. A set collection game that sees you picking a card, then passing the remainder round to the left or the right depending on what course you're eating, or in game speak, what round you're playing. Just make sure the cards you pick work with others. Some types of food give you more points the more you have, others want you to have the most of it to take home some points, and the variety goes on and on. Whilst the base game is highly portable and brings more than enough goodness in a small tin, there's also Sushi Go Party that brings more choice and ultimately more replayability. Number 6. KINGDOMINO, or if dominoes had pictures of landscape terrain on them and you had to pattern build a 5x5 grid that represents your kingdom. The tile land part of the game is fine, alright, there's only so many choices you can make, and the challenge is fitting them all in the grid, because anything outside of the boundary is a go no no area. It's the drafting element that pushes this little fella over the top though. You see, each tile in the box is sequentially numbered, and the higher the number, the more valuable the tile. So then the bottom tiles during each round are the most valuable. Now you pick that one and you'll be picking last in the next round. So getting greedy means you'll be at the mercy of other players until the cycle comes back to you. Easy breezy funsies. Number 7. For sale. If auction and bidding at its most primal is your cup of tea, then look no further than what is just a deck of cards game. It uses a poker style of upping the ante as you pass through each player, with the first half of the game seeing you bidding on properties that range on a scale of value between a cardboard box and a space station. At any time you can duck out of the running, and you then take the least valuable property left in the middle. Round and round you go until all the cards have been divvied up. Then, after a few rounds of this, it's time to flip your properties for the most amount of dough. This part sees you secretly placing a property up for sale, and similar to the first round, the higher you bid, the more points you might get. This is the definition of a game of two sweet ass halves. Number 8. Archaeology, the new expedition. There's something inherently comforting and smooth about this set collection and hand management game, set in and around an archaeological dig site. The reason for that choice of words is that the game skips along at a heady beat. You're drawing a card and then buying and selling from and to the communal marketplace at a cost ratio of 1:1. But sometimes the one you want is part of the set you're after, so quids in. Don't push your luck too far though, because at multiple points throughout the game, thieves, aka the other players, are going to steal your cards. And then the sandstorms arrive that decimate your hand and pad out the marketplace. Most of the games in this list have that air of simplicity, but this one doesn't sacrifice any of the tension in the process. Number 9. Bang, the dice game. Simple mechanics aside, this team-based game of dice rolling and hidden rolls actually crams a lot into an ultra lightweight title. Whether it's the thematically and mechanically different host of Wild West characters you can take the guise of, or the wildly different win conditions you adopt depending on what role you've been assigned, or even the welcome Yahtzee style dice rolling and re-rolling that sees you shooting bullets at your neighbour or totting up arrows that will inevitably result in the natives attacking, or even healing yourself or who you might have ascertained is on your side. There's plenty of good shizzle to go around in this quite brilliantly designed little gunfight of a game. Now say it with me, El Scherifo. Number 10. Welcome to the dungeon. Now it's the welcome part that's a bit misrepresentative, because there ain't any friendlies you'll encounter in this here assortment of stone-walled corridors and rooms. What there is though is a communal set of armour and equipment that you are effectively pushing your luck for the right to enter the dungeon with. Only one person earns that right each round though, and between you, you've been populating the dungeon with more and more beastly foes, and or taking away pieces of equipment that can help you deal with them. It's this tightrope of a game that sees the last player not to bottle it have the chance to take home the spoils or get eaten for breakfast. There aren't many games at all that use this sort of tightrope mechanic, and so it's very welcome, excuse the pun, to find it in such a lightweight game. And so there you have the first in a series of bi-weekly top 10 lists. If you have any ideas you'd like me to cultivate, research and present to the fine people of the YouTubes, then let me know in the comments below. However, that's it from me. I'll see you next time.